Recorded. All right, well, welcome to the art part of the membership. So happy you guys are here. So always for the art section, the goal is to relax, to do something maybe new that you've never tried before, and something that's fun. So doing all those things are really great for our brain health. And it's such an important pillar of lifestyle that we tend to overlook when we talk about movement, and we talk about what we eat, obviously, but sometimes when we talk about stress, it kind of gets overlooked, or trying something new, which is why I love including these. We always start our classes with a mocktail recipe. So if you guys actually could go back and look all the way back to June right now today and see all the different mocktails that we've made. Tonight we're doing a recipe that's great for like an upset stomach, I find. So it's really simple. It's only a couple ingredients, and then we'll move to the art part. But I just get a glass of ice, and then I like to go, you can do this yourself, or you can go to your juice store and get like a little wellness shot. Sometimes they have ginger juice, and sometimes they have ginger and turmeric juice. And so I have that here. So we do a shot of that over the ice. But sometimes, taking just depends on your juice place, how much intensity they make it. And then I also like to do a heavy splash of lemon. And then I just fill the rest up with water. It could be sparkling water or still water. And then I find that this is kind of like a nice replacement for ginger ale. So if you ever have an upset stomach, this is kind of the go-to. And again, you can find ginger shots in a lot of the smoothie and juice places that sell them there. And then using sparkling water, again, kind of makes it similar to ginger ale. So I just have some sparkling water there that's plain. And then I just take a long iced teaspoon or a straw, and you can stir it up. But this is really nice, again, if you have an upset stomach. So it's kind of a ginger ale replacement. All right, but super easy. That was like, really fast, but I always like to start with a little mocktail as an extra recipe. And it's really nice with the lemon. It like brightens it everything up and kind of takes away kind of how pungent that ginger can be sometimes. Okay, so I see a couple people are still joining us. Well, welcome. So tonight's class is all about blanket making. We are going to switch. I'm going to move you guys over to my living room floor. I have it kind of all set up. I'm actually going to hook up my camera so you guys can see my hands while I do it. Tonight's class is going to be broken up into two. So we're going to do the hard step tonight to get started, and then next month we'll do the next part. So I wanted to break it up so it's not so overwhelming, because you guys are probably going to ask me to see the steps a couple times. It's nice to do it, take it apart, do it, take apart, so you guys get used to it. The only thing you need is yarn tonight. I'll go over and show you ours. So everyone else can hear me, right? Okay. Yeah, someone let Deborah know that it's probably her device or her computer that needs the volume up. So I'm going to move you guys over, set you guys up over there. Does anyone have any questions before we get started? Any questions? I know there's nothing, we haven't done anything yet, so that's good, but I'm sure there'll be questions when we get started. Okay, so I'm going to move me over. So you're just going to hear my voice while I move my camera. So I'll shut it off so it doesn't make anyone kind of motion sickness. So give me 1 second just to unplug. Okay, sorry about that. I had a whole rig where it was like down at my hands, so bear with me. Worst comes to worst, I'll get it to work and film it so it's straight down, because it's a little bit hard when you're holding it up, but it should be okay. All right, so for tonight, we are gonna do the first part. Sorry about the little bit of a time sink. But the first part of this whole thing that we're going to do is we're really going to focus on the first string of our yarn that I'm going to teach you guys tonight. So when you guys went to the store, you should have been getting like big blanket yarn, which is pretty thick. And usually, depending on the size of your blanket, you want to get about 6 to 8 of these. Now, if you want to make something smaller, you can use less. I'm going to mute whoever's on their mic just so we don't hear the background. So we're going to open it up just like I'm going to start off at the beginning, but we're going to focus on like this first step for class. Okay. So I'm going to we're going to start with a fresh one. Okay. So when you open up your yarn, and this would have been nice if I would have had the down camera so you guys could have just seen my hands, but you're going to see that there's two little tails in it. You can just grab one end to start. And I like to do it on a floor or a surface, so you have a lot of space to put it out. So this really helps if you are doing it with us. And I will hold it up. Again, I apologize. Usually it's easier on the floor. I usually do it looking down, so it might be a little bit awkward for me to do it faced up, but I'll get to the first part. So we just have our string, and the other part of it, I just stretch out. So like it's a big part of it all stretched out. Okay. Everyone on that step first. So we're just at the end. Just like BJ. Yep. I like it. So for the first step, what I like to do is I like to have it, let me see, let me move all this around. We're going to make our first knot. Let me grab I did this one yesterday. So we're going to make a first end point. Now you can I like to leave a pretty generous amount of string before I start. So this part we'll get with, Deborah said she can't find an end. This part I like to leave cut. You don't really need it to be this big, but I kind of been generous with it, but we're going to make our starting point. So let me just get my part up. Okay. So usually I have everything ready to go. So you guys have your string. Okay, we're going to make kind of a noose for it. So you're going to take your string and you're going to hold it in your hand. And I take 2 to 3 fingers. Okay, like that. Okay, you guys, so we had it there. So you want to make kind of a little, kind of like that. Is everyone at that part? Let me know in the chat if you guys are at that part. And again, we're going to make, so you can fit like around 3 fingers in it that you have. Okay, we're going to make a noose. So you're going to take, sorry, it's hard to do it holding up, but you're going to take 3 fingers and you're going to take this part and put it through the hole. And then you're going to pull it. So it kind of makes kind of like a noose. That's kind of the easiest way I can say it. So I'll do it again for you guys to show you. And if I pull it tight, it would be tight. Okay, so again, see, this is the part that you just need like over and over again. So again, you're taking like 2 to 3 fingers, usually around 3 is what I do. You're going to go around your fingers to make, and then you're going to pull this part through. And again, it's going to make kind of like a noose. Okay, everyone, I'll stop at this point till everyone can get there because this is like the starting point. And again, it would have been so nice. You guys, I had a whole rig for it to be pointed down, but of course, when you want things to work. And if yours ends up being too big, again, I like to do 3 fingers generally. You can tighten it by moving it up and tightening it by putting it in place to make it nice and snug. But just to get started, we'll do it again. Okay, so take your 3 fingers, you go like around it, and then we're going to put this part through it and pull it through. So it makes kind of a knot there. And if I pull it tight, it would be tight. Okay, we can do it one more time. We can do it as many times as you guys want. That's why this is going to be broken up into a couple classes so that it's not overwhelming, because once you do it, you'll get it. But so again, take your 3 fingers, go around, and then you're going to pull this guy through. And then again, you can size it, like as long as you're not pulling it tight, you can resize it. Okay. And next week, I will figure out the camera situation, or next month, so that it's face down, because that'll really help. Okay, does everyone have this yet? Let me know in the chat if you got this part. I can do it again. I can do it as many times as you guys want. This is just the first starting point. Everyone got it? Okay, a couple people got it. It's that was like one of the hardest parts of the whole thing. So if you got that, You're in good shape. Okay, got it. Patty's got it. Wait one more minute to see. Carol's got it. Okay. Anyone not got it? No, you don't have it? Do you want me to do it again, BJ? We can do it again. So we're just gonna start again. So I take the 3 fingers. This is the end of it. 3 fingers to go around. And then you pull it through and then pull down, and then it makes your little knot. And you can be generous. Like the last tail that I did, sorry, I have 2 different pieces of yarn with me because I was starting one to show you guys what we're going to do tonight. See, like this guy is very long. This one's a little short. So you might want to give yourself a little bit of extra room. This one might need a little bit extra than that, but and again, you can make it as tight as you want. Once it's to the point, you can pull it down to make it a little bit more snug. Okay. BJ, did you get it? We'll try it again if you didn't. We'll make sure everyone's on the same page. That's okay. We're gonna make sure we don't leave anyone behind in this class. That's why we're breaking it up into parts. Okay. So you hold up your piece, take your 3 fingers, you go around your 3 fingers. So it's just in my 3 fingers. Okay. Then you're gonna go around again and you're gonna pull it through. Pull it through. And then this part you hold on to. And then when you move your fingers, then it makes kind of like the knot that you're looking for. It's okay, we can do it again. It takes this is the whole thing is like easy, but it just takes practice. So, okay, so there's my string and my 3 fingers. You can go around your 3 fingers. So that's just your 3 fingers and your yarn. And thank you for everyone being patient. And then you're gonna go and pull through, sneak it through, and then it creates your knot. And then from this point, it's not tight. So again, I put my 3, this is really big. So I put my 3 fingers in, and then I could pull on the longer string to kind of like snug it into place so that it's not quite as, you can move your knot up a little because you don't want it to be too loose. This is kind of the start of your blanket. Okay. And then around that is what I'm going to do. I wish I could stream you guys on, or I could have it up so you guys could see, but I'm gonna hold it up. We're gonna do our best to hold it up. I really wish I had my tripod. Okay, so what I like to do now is you're gonna use your yarn on, did you get it? Before we move to the next step. Okay, all right. And what I'll do for you guys is I'll record my hands. I will make a recording. So at the end, you guys have it like, it's all quick and you can pause it as you want. So it's just gonna be my hands making the yarn. So sometime between this class and next class, I'll put it all together for you guys so you can pause it as you want. So once you have it, so I like to use, and again, it'd be easier if you guys were below me, but I like to put my yarn on the side that I'm working. So we are gonna work left to right for the first one. And then we're going to make our loops and we're going to work going the other way. And so I like to move my yarn. Sorry, I'm just moving some stuff out of the side. Whatever side I'm working on, like now that we're going left to right, my big piece of yarn will be going over here. And then when we move to do the next one, I'll move it over here. And that just makes it easier to go in place. So just to show you guys. Okay, 1 second so you're gonna have your yarn down on your table, and all we're gonna do is you're gonna put your piece and you're gonna pull through. Let me see, it's a lot harder to do. See, standing up when you're holding it. Hold on, let me get a piece going. All right, so I don't get all messed up. I have my notes for it. Sometimes I'm like, when I'm holding it up too much. Okay. Yeah, okay, I got it. All right, so we're holding it through. So you're going to use your two fingers and you're going to pull this guy through. And all we're going to do is you're just going to keep your pattern pulling through, and it makes this little knit pattern. So as we pull through, each has a chain. So this is really the part that you can kind of do without thinking. I find that I put like a show on. So we'll do it again. I can pull it out from the beginning. So put your fingers in your little hole that we made, and you're going to pull through. And each time you pull through, it makes a link. So now my two fingers are in the new one, and I'm pulling through. And you want to make them about the same size. Again, this is a little hard because you guys can't see it on the floor, but let me get a couple in. And the goal for this is to make them the same size so that they're not, so that it looks even. So again, when I pull it flat, you guys can see that it's starting to come with a pattern. And so again, you just take your fingers through each chain, pull through, and then when you make a new chain, you take your fingers and pull through. So I will do it again. So we'll start all over. Okay. So back at that beginning point, take your two fingers, and all you do is pull through. And then you take your two fingers and you pull through, and you just keep going, and you try to make it around the same size. So, we wouldn't want to make one like that big and then go down and make, you want to make them all similar. And I find that making them smaller together makes it a little bit more of a high-end blanket than less than like, this is my first blanket. So I try to make them more on the smaller end. So again, we're just pulling through. I'm just pinching. I don't know if you guys can see this. Pull through, pinch. Now I made a new one. So I pull through, pinch, pull through, pinch. And I do this, I don't do this, airborne. I do this like on the ground, because you can pull it and start to see your pattern. And this is however wide you want to make your blanket is how long you're going to do this. So what I like to do is do this on the floor, have a lot of space. I generally will do it the size of this couch, to be honest. Like if you do it the size of a couch, it's kind of nice, or if you have a love seat. Also, what I like to do is have I have a measuring tape up there, but you can measure how long you did it. So that way you can make each row the same. So some people like to count chains. I think that's really difficult to be like, how many chains do I have? So I just use a measuring tape, or, when I start before the measuring tape, I usually make it the size of this couch. So I'll show you guys again. We'll go from the top. How about that? Start all over. So PJ, if you didn't get it, we'll do it again. All right. So if you ever make a mistake too, like nothing's a knot, it all came out. This is the same yarn that I used. Okay. So take three fingers, go around. So this is just sitting on there. And again, you might want to make this tail a little bit longer. So while I'm thinking about it, I'm going to do that. Okay. And then you're going to go around. And then this guy is going to go into the back of it to make your first like little tail. And then you pull down. And then again, you can like tighten it as needed. So I kind of make it fit my three fingers, and then I tighten it to that. Okay. Then from there, you're going to grab the part that's long and grab your pincher fingers, and you're going to pull through. And all we're going to do is keep pulling through. So again, at that start point, you just grab your pincher fingers and you just make a little loop. So now there's like a little loop in there. And then I put my two fingers into the little loop, and I just keep doing the same thing and trying to make them around the same size. If you get to a point where like you accidentally made one too big, what you can do is you can gently pull it out, because nothing's set in stone yet. So you can just plop it out and go back to one that you need. Okay. Any questions? I can do it all again from the beginning. I appreciate the patience while we were setting up our camera, or I was trying to set up the camera. But again, I will make a whole video just on my hands doing it, so you guys will know. And next week when we get, or next month, I keep saying next week, next month, not next week, we will get together and do the next step. So really easy. So again, I'm just going to continue this until it's the length of my couch. That's what I like to do. But however wide you want to make it, like that's not a very wide blanket yet. So you would just keep going. And what's nice about these is if you go to Michael's or Joann Fabrics, they have them on sale often. And this is such a nice gift to give to people. You can also buy yarns of like 2 different colors. And when we get to adding in the second thing of yarn, you can do different color variations. So, you know, if you have like somebody graduating high school, doing school colors is really fun. And again, you just keep going. And again, this is kind of meditative. I like this. Yeah, isn't it? It's amazingly easy. And I'll do it again from the start just to show you guys. If you guys make a mistake, you can always start over. But it's like a fun thing to do. Like, I'm serious. While like we're watching TV, if you're in a car, I mean, it's nice to have a big space so that you can measure it out. But technically, like you could do this anywhere. But this is something I like to do, like specifically if there's like a show that like I'm not so much into and my husband's into, and I just sit there and watch it with him, like I can sit there and make a blanket. Wow. I think we all have those shows from spouses that, you know, mine specifically is Gold Rush, which comes on at Friday evenings. And I'm like, man, it's Friday, you know, is there something better we could watch? And it's on Discovery, and he's been watching Gold Rush for decades now. And I'm like, maybe this year it'll get canceled. Nope. But you just keep going. So now I'm just like, keep going. And I like to do it flat. I don't like to do it airborne, and as it like twists, like it's stretched out. You can, you know, sit there and stretch it to be all, you know, one way. So it's not wavy. You guys can see, I just did that in like a second. Okay. And again, you're going to make it the length that you want your blanket to be. Okay. Does anyone want me to start over? We can do this all again. It doesn't take long. Does anyone need to see it from the top? Okay. I'm going to keep going if no one needs to see it. But you just find where you last ended and you just keep pinching, just like loops and pinches. Loops and pinches. Yours is very loose, BJ? Okay. So when you go, we'll start back over. So see how mine's pretty tight? It looks like a braid. Okay. So when you start over, so again, the nice thing about this is if you mess up, you can just gently pull it and they all come out. So it's no big deal. Nothing's wasted. Okay. So you go back to your loop that you made. Now make sure this loop again should be able to fit like 3 fingers. It shouldn't be, you know, much bigger than that. And when you go to grab it, you put your pinchers in. I call these my pinchers. And you're just going to pinch the big long piece of it and pull it up. Now, the reason yours is loose is because this part, we're going to call it a bunny ear. Your little bunny ear is too big. So again, you want it to be around like probably two fingers for this guy, not 3 once you get started. So now that you can put your pinchers in, and then you're going to go to the next one and just make sure that it's the same size. And if yours is really loose, go more on the short end. And then as you go, it should be pretty tight. So if yours is looser than that, you know, start over, try again. But once you get good at these, you really can like speed through them, which is nice. Okay. Is anyone done with their length? I just started over mine. Again, you just kind of keep pinching. Keep pinching, and as you can even slightly give it a tug if yours is a little loose as you go. You don't want it to be super tight. You still want it to be able to get fingers into things, because as we weave them, you're going to need it. But you can always like slightly tug on it to make it a little bit tighter. Again, 2 little pinchers. And then you pull through 2 little pinchers. And you're just kind of like feeding it and making these little like 1 bunny ear. And then whenever it's done, you get that kind of braid look. And again, it'll look better. It would look better if I had it on the floor, but you guys would be able to see it a little bit better, but we're working with what we got tonight. So just keep going. Is anyone done at the length of theirs? Try to get everyone on the same page before we move on. And again, it's just, you know, it's fun. You can kind of not think once you get into the groove of it. I'm telling you, tying the first one to get started is really, really the most difficult part. But I like this because you don't need there's no like tools that you need besides your hands. Okay, anyone else still doing okay? It's pretty quiet, so I want to make sure you guys are all on the same page. Okay. Everyone's like working on theirs, which is good to see. Referring to them as braids and bunny ears makes it easy. Yeah. Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that. I'd be a skilled teacher if I could you should see, I have like a whole little, I actually used it for teaching a lot, which makes me frustrated why my camera wasn't like plugging in and working. So I had to figure out why that's the case. But yeah, just keep going. And like mine's all wonky because I'm doing it not vertical, but if you do it, you can just give it a nice little tug to kind of straighten it out. And if any time like yours, you feel like you did it a certain section wrong, again, you can take that and you can gently pull on it to go back to the section, which I kind of like, you know, because you want to make sure it's all a nice braid. So if there's any time you feel like, oh, this didn't go quite as I wanted, you know, you can always go back and refix it. Okay, this part of this is the hardest part. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you guys to save this in a bag, put it up somewhere that no one's going to accidentally open for next month's class, because we will go on to the next part. And once you guys see the next part of class, you'll be able to make as many blankets as you want. But I figured with, you know, this being everyone's like first time doing this, it's probably better to break these up into 2 classes. Okay, everyone's still doing okay. Is anyone done with the length of theirs? Okay, a couple of us got done. Okay, we'll see if everyone is on the next step, we could possibly do the next part. I'm debating on stopping here or doing the next part, because the next part we're gonna start the next row of it to go the other way. All right, let me see if I can get caught up to you guys because I was chatting and redoing stuff. Let me spread this back. Oh, you know what I actually can do? I can move to the other one that I already started. Okay. That's what I'll do. This one's already, I have a couple blankets going at once. It's like, what stage? Let me just open this guy. Go back to where I started. All right. Okay. So let me just, now I have 2 balls of yarn. Make sure you only have one that you're dealing with so you don't get confused. All right, so I have my yarn and now I'm ready to go to the other direction. So I'm going to move so this is the tail that I started with. Okay, I have my big long braid. It's really long. I tell you to probably go longer than you think. This is how long my blanket's going to be. It's kind of like my wingspan, I would say. Okay. All right. So now move your ball to the other side. So depending on how you started it, if it's on one side, put it on the other side, because we're going to go in the other direction. So you're going in the opposite direction of where you started with that tail. Okay. So you just want to set that down. All right. So now we finished where we wanted, and this is the last piece. I could like keep going if I wanted to, but I know this is what I want to be done. So we're gonna leave this last piece. Okay, you guys are all there. Okay, we'll give everyone a minute to get to this point. I don't want to jump the gun too much. I'm casting it on my TV too, which is cool because I can see what you guys see. But I wish that camera would have worked. All right, let me know when you guys are all there. If you guys need a couple minutes, okay? No rush. Okay, so I'm gonna start. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna, it's at the end, but we're gonna face it upwards. So this guy was at the end. I could have kept going if I wanted to, but we're gonna tilt it so this guy, this little bunny ear, is facing up. Okay, let me know when you guys get to that point. So this guy, we had it here. Okay, it's a big long row of our braid, but we're gonna face it, turn it so it's facing up. So now if I laid this down, this little bunny ear would be facing up. Okay, and again, there's no rush. We can take our time. We still got lots of time in class to make it. Okay, but this guy, face it away from you towards vertical. And I mean vertical, I just mean like going forward. So this guy's like there with a little bunny ear facing, so I can keep going. Okay, is everyone good so far? Okay, everyone's got that? All right. So now what we're gonna do is we're going to, let me move mine on the floor for a minute, is we're gonna take the longer part and we're gonna go into each part that we've made a braid and we're gonna pull it, the little bunny ear through. So each part, so now it's making kind of a little bunny ear at the top. So all I did was, this part was at the bottom and I just take and pull it through the top. So it makes a little bunny ear at the top. So we're making the next part, pulling it through. But you want all of the thing for this is, again, you want it to be consistent. So you don't want them to be like one to be big, one to be small. You want them all to be consistent. So I like to take like a finger and like measure it. Like, am I doing 2 fingers? Is it 1 finger? You know, like that way you can be consistent. So I like to do these a little bit more tight. So I would do like 1 finger. Okay. And then this guy is hanging off the back. You guys can see the yarn. And again, I just find the next part that we made in that chain, and you're going to do the same thing. And you're going to pull it through to make a little bunny ear. Okay. And you just keep doing that the entire way. That's the next step. Again, we'll start over from the beginning. Okay. So this was my last one. I've decided I don't want to braid anymore. Okay. So now I'm going to turn this kind of vertical. Okay, this long piece, we're going to find the next chain link where it's a hole. I'm going to pinch it through and I'm going to make this little bunny ear, and we're going to keep going through each. There's the next one. There's the next one. And again, you want them all to be the same size, but you're just like feeding the yarn through. Here's the next one. And it's going to look a little weird, but this is the next row that we're doing. Okay, and they're all kind of standing up and they should all be the same size. If you make a mistake, you can pull it through and go back and fix any or tighten it. Okay, but I keep it on the floor. And let me see if I can show you guys, but let me show you guys here. We'll pretend this is my desk. So I keep it on the floor, like face like that. So all these loops are in front of me laying down. Okay, but all of these guys should be around the same size. Okay, and this is the guy at the end that we've kind of tilted up. Okay, does that make sense? Again, you guys will get it once you do it a bunch, and I will make a video again, walking you guys through it. Just takes a minute or two to like watch, get a refresh, and then keep going. But then you're just gonna find each one you're gonna pull through, go to the next one in your chain link. And it looks kind of funny because it's not all, you know, like sitting flat, but you know, as we go, it starts to come together. So you guys see how that's all like little, now they kind of look like teddy bear ears, but they all go into the spot. Yeah, it's kind of starting to look real. Yep. It's a really cool, it's just a cool project. But again, it's just a couple steps that you have to get the hang of it. And then once you do, like this is the bottom of your blanket and the first layer. And then we're going to, it's just like, it's repeating, you know, once you get it, it's just a lot of repeating. So again, we just kind of take it, pinch it through, make your little, we'll call them teddy bear ears.
Is it possible that mine's too tight? Because I'm having a hard time pulling them through.
Yeah. Yeah. So if yours is too tight, your chains are too tight. Like, can you stick a finger in the chain?
In this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So you should be able to stick.
You all set?
Yeah, you should be able to stick it in then.
Oh, okay.
But if you know, just you can wiggle it, but you should be able to pinch it. You want it to be tight, but not tight enough that you can't pull a little bit through.
So can you see my ears?
Yeah, that looks good.
Okay.
Yep. Yep, and you can play around like with what style you like. If it wanted to be more of a loose blanket where it's like a little bit more looser, if you like it really tight and kind of pushing the envelope on how tight you can make it. The more tighter you make it, like the more yarn you're going to use up quicker. So, but also like it's nice that nothing comes apart once you're done with it. So like you're not, you know, it's really durable. I will say too that these actually, like you can wash these really easily. The only ticket to washing your blankets is to put it in a pillowcase or like a laundry bag. That way, you know, nothing snags on it. So you can actually wash these a whole bunch too, like regular blankets. And then again, if you ever miss a gap when you're doing these, you can just pull it and go back and find, because sometimes, you know, sometimes if I get distracted, it's like, oh, wait, I missed one. And that's where I will continue to do it tonight, but that's where we're going to stop class today. So you get all of your bunny, teddy bear ears, bunny ears, whatever you want to call them, out so that they're all facing. And then that's where you can stop for tonight. And we will come back next month, not next week, next month, to do the next row. But really easy. Okay. But that's a lot. I was thinking about this and I was like, I need to break this down so it's not so overwhelming. And again, you can start over if you want to, if you feel like you didn't get it. This recording will be up tonight in the group. And again, I will make a proper like artsy video of me making the whole blanket start to finish. So that way you guys have it. Cause sometimes I think pausing it too. So I will figure out what's going on with that camera. But again, you'll have all of your little ears ready to go. And I just, you know, work with it on the floor, kind of facing away from me, is how I do it whenever I'm working on this. But you can do it on a table, on an office, however you want, and it'll stay in place. But I would recommend putting it in some kind of like bag, like a plastic bag or something like that, or a tote bag until we can come back to it again. Put it somewhere safe, so no one accidentally gets into it. Oh, that's okay. So we are gonna put up the recording. This is a 2-part class. So you just want to make sure you do this part of the class before you get to next week's. And we had a bunch of technical issues at the beginning with my camera. And, you know, again, I had a real nice setup that we were going to do. But this recording will be up. So you guys will be able to rewatch that part. But I appreciate everyone's patience while I was trying to figure that out. But just keep going. You just want to keep going with it until you have all of your bunny ears to the end, depending on how big you made yours. And then that'll be where we come back next week. Okay, any questions on this? Before, I can hang out as long as you guys want, but any questions on this? Does anyone want to re-see something? Does anyone want me to, I could do the very beginning again next month? Yeah. Really, really fun. So on Thursday night, usually around midnight, I get the recipes out. All of the new stuff comes out. So this is your reminder to go in and download June, because June will be going away. So just make a little mental note. If for some reason you ever forget to download a month, you can always send me an email. I'm happy to send them your way. But June will be coming down because we're getting all of our October recipes coming up, which are going to be very, very good and pumpkin themed and all the fall feelings coming out for that. So I'm excited for that. But yeah, any other questions? Now you guys can all say that you worked with yarn if this was your first time. You're becoming blanket pros. Yeah, lots of fall recipes coming. It's my favorite time of the year. So, and at the beginning we had the mocktails. So if you ever have an upset stomach, try that. It's kind of our Gatorade replacement. Or yeah, not Gatorade. I guess it could be like a Gatorade, kind of like a ginger ale replacement. Aw, my grandmother taught my brother and I to do the first row. Very cool. Oh, that's very cool. I love that. Yeah, blanket making is so much fun. And I always love all of these art classes. I always tell you guys that gifting stuff like this is so special. So I have a couple of different blankets I'm making, one's for my brother to send, and really, really fun. Is the part of the blanket that you hold up between your arms span the width of your blanket or the length? So I'm actually going to make it the width of my blanket, but I generally try to make it the same, like width and length, kind of the same. So it just depends how long you want to, how many things of yarn that you bought. But really, it's personal preference. I would suggest, using whatever you have for the first one to see how it goes, and then you can kind of plan it out. But I generally try to make the width and the length. Yeah, I'm going to do one that's square for this first one, but you guys can do, any shape. And I'll show you guys how next class, how we add on, and you can do anything you want. So sometimes I just like pick the shape in the moment. But it depends what the blanket's for, I feel. Like how big you want to make it. All right, any other questions? I hope you guys had fun. Again, it just takes a little bit of practice rewatching this video. You can play around because you guys bought 6 to 8 of these. You can practice. You can do 2 of them the same, like at the beginning. And then again, you can always like take it and start over. So I think for practicing, it's really fun to practice up to this point. And then again, even if it's just practice. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. I'm going to show you guys next week how you add. We go from one yarn to the second one and how you can keep building if you guys want it to be bigger. But we're just starting this basic one. I feel like it's a lot of information. We'll keep it split between the 2 classes.
So Brittany, that piece you just held up?
Yeah.
So no, the
braid?
Yeah, the braid. Can you, how many fingers can you put in between each? I'm
about 2.
Okay, I think I had mine way too tight.
Yeah, about 2, because you still want to be able to get the bunny ears through. Okay. And that's the thing, is just like trying to make sure everything's even as you do it. Because sometimes it's like you make one a little bit bigger and one a little bit smaller. So that's really the hard part of making these blankets, is just trying to be consistent.
Thank you.
But I hope you guys had fun. We'll be back next month with the next part, so that it's bite-sized information that's not overwhelming. And if you got overwhelmed, just rewatch the video. It just takes a couple of times to get the hang of it. No pressure, and And it's not supposed to be stressful. It's supposed to be relaxing and fun. All right, good. I'm glad you guys had fun. Well, I will see you guys next month for the next one. You can always post photos if you enjoyed the class. I am going to go work out the camera viewing situation. I don't know what happened. So I will eventually make a video showing you guys start to finish just with my hands, showing you how to walk you through. But I hope this was helpful. And next month, we can stop at any point, go back and kind of go at everyone's speed. Okay. All right. Well, have a good evening. I think the Golden Bachelor is coming on tonight, so I'm gonna go catch that. Should be fun. And I'll see you guys in the next one.
Take care.
All right. I'm gonna stop the recording.
Good night.